I'm hoping you can see that. If you cannot see that, I may have to shrink this a bit. Well, let's see if I can do this. Okay, what you're looking at here is the beginning or the beginnings of my work for 1997. It's called the Circus Freaks. I call them such because they were creatures who lived in a circus in the future. So, um, how do I say this? I, of course, went to high school. Um, in the previous post last week, I talked about Carlos and skeleton warriors and how he turns into a living skeleton who could live forever, and he had a dog and such. These were based on three people, Eric, Ashley, and Moses. And these were people I met in high school, people I met in my sophomore year, junior year, and senior year of high school. And how would I describe the real Eric? He was into comic books. He was a nerd. He was Latino, but he would sound a bit white, Caucasian in his voice. Very intelligent, very book read. Got some A's, mostly A's, and then some B's in school. So he was very. So it's based on this middle character here, the one with the white, kind of ghostly looking, marshmallow looking thing. So Eric would be this very brilliant scientist type of character. Okay. Then you had Ashley, who was the female. This one here, uh, this she's the robot character, but Ashley was based on someone I knew who graduated class of '95. Very sexy olive skin, uh, long dark hair with blonde highlights in it. Very very sexy body. Everything about her was in perfect proportions. Very tall. Um, so this is her as a short robot. Um, she was like a cholita. She had the big muscular cholo boyfriend, and she like she's like the low right. She could have been a lowrider model. She could have been this really sexy lowrider model. She's like a typical model kind of person, right? And Moses, all these three people are Latinos, like myself. Uh, Moses is this dog-looking creature here, okay, that you see, this one here with the teeth. So he's sort of he looks like he has mental retardation, um, and that he would talk like this and he would talk like that and all this thing here and this thing that he does. He would talk like that. Okay, he would emphasize every fucking syllable. So Eric would be, "Let's just, I'm very brilliant, and this is me, and this is what I do. I go into comic books, and this is me, right?" And Ashley would be more like the Cholita with the kind of a sexy girl, kind of tough girl voice, and Moses would emphasize every syllable, right? So you had three people from three distinct backgrounds. Now I knew Eric and Moses in one high school, but I had to transfer to another high school because I had bad grades, and I met Ashley later on. Now, as I was working on Carlos, the skullcap character, okay, I I got bored of it. Of course, I didn't really get into it as much. I tried to get into it, but I just couldn't. Um, but when I did the Circus Freaks, when I thought of Eric, Ashley, and Moses as three characters, the thing that I liked, I was going over it in my head, was here we have three people from. It's like if you took Donald Trump, right, and you took, um, let me think, 50 Cent, right, and you took 50 Cent, and you took Elvez, or let's say Piolín, okay, and uh, God, throw in the strongest like Russian sexy female boxer, okay, Natasha Rogojina, okay, or taking like just taking distinct people and put them together, okay. So I didn't when I was writing my fictional characters, I didn't want to do characters that were all similar, that were too similar. They had to be based on real people I've met, and they had to be distinct, diverse. So they couldn't be three people who were in a cultural clique or high school clique, because then it would be boring. it would be much more interesting to take three people from three different high school cliques and put them together. But how would you do that? So my original story for the Circus Freaks was that Eric was a scientist who was discovering amoebas, like if you can make amoebas life size. Moses was just some drunken bastard. Okay, the real Moses was the president of a bank that didn't go very well. But anyway, the fictional Moses I created was a drunken driver. Okay, and Ashley um, was a cholita. Okay, so these three suffer horrible accidents that put them in comas. And a scientist takes these three people and turns them into creatures that were like superhumans. Um, I'll be honest. I mean, you may have seen my last video. I'm not a very photogenic, beautiful person. I would not do well on billboards. I couldn't sell car insurance, life insurance. I couldn't sell anything worth a damn. Okay, I'm not a very attractive person. So because I never saw myself as attractive, is the reason why I felt that I needed to make these people into monsters and not make them human. So it's very difficult to see. This character would stay white, but would have red eyes. So Eric becomes Electrode, and Electrode, an energy being. So it's a monster. It's an electric monster made out of pure light that could shapeshift into different objects. Ashley would become a robot, a human brain in a robot body, and she would become Ashcan. That's her nickname, and this would be Mud or Mutt. Moses's persona would be this living plant-like creature made out of dirt and mud, with a plant fern on his head and eyes and teeth. I showed my artwork to people in college, and they liked Mud the most, and these two the least. They liked him the most, but not these two. So it was just like experimenting with these characters. I spent the next 2 to 3 years experimenting with them, but I'm showing you a little bit now, just to you get an idea. So the idea was that this scientist took these three people who suffered freak accidents. Eric suffered at the hands of amoebas. Moses almost dies in a car accident. Ashley almost dies in a gunfire. So they end up in comas, and they get transformed into these beings. But it takes about 75 years for Eric, Ashley, and Moses to become Electrode, Ashcan, and Mud. And by the time they become these alien creatures, the world has advanced 75 years. And there's a circus, a derelict circus of performers or freaks, that are freaks of nature, that they go and hide with. And it's supposed to be heroes versus villains. It's supposed to be. I made these little comics, for myself, but I never really got into it after a time. But this is what I got into for now. I'll show more later, but I just wanted to show you some of the pencil work. When we get to the 98, 99, we're going to show full color. This was the last of my black and white work, as it is difficult to see. But when we get to full color, you will see a way more. Take care.